Captain, that's gonna be in my head.
What?
Lizards.
Lizards.
Hello everybody, this a couple pictures of lizards. They're little very beautiful animals.
With little couple pictures of lizards. Lizards are a beautiful animal. When you went live, I played the lizards video.
Hello and welcome to Yoda Soda Creations, a podcast. Group of friends, two of which behind the business talking BBC builders. Well, towards the end of Miyazaki month, and we're now on to one of his more recent ones, and this one's actually in watercolor.
How appropriate.
I see what they did there. Water, watercolor, water. Okay, that's enough of that.
So yeah, like I said, like I said last week, Japanese Little Mermaid, otherwise known as Ponyo.
Japanese Little Mermaid.
So yeah, initial thoughts, not bad.
Yeah.
And like, each one's doing their own has their own style, you know.
I think this one is the most rules unexplained so far. Well, actually, I don't know. I think the last one was pretty insane. So maybe.
But the thing is, it's magic. They don't have to explain anything.
You can do that, definitely. But I think if you do it too much, you lose people's interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that.
But I think it treads the line of losing your interest. I like the moral ambiguity of the characters. Meaning we kind of don't know if some characters are bad or good for a while. So yeah, we'll draw till what do you say, like 11:30. So we'll try to keep it to that. I'm just gonna sketch, I think, because we've been gone for a while, so I haven't had much time with my drawing screen.
Sounds like a plan. Actually, it's probably good we do this time as opposed to like what I thought was the original plan for Kingdom Hearts stuff, because it's like 2.5 hours worth of footage, so that would probably work better with the thing where we're not watching the movie beforehand, you know?
Probably.
Since we usually run a bit longer on the shorter things, you know?
It's kind of weird, but yeah.
It makes sense, because like you spend more time to actually watch things, so So we get started later, so we want to finish up sooner.
Uh-huh.
Makes perfect sense.
Perfect.
It's also why to like not to do it live and to record it ahead of time. That way, it's like when I do that, I can actually pay attention to the talking and not be super focused on the game. You know.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live with a recording. Wait a minute. Yeah, you might see that sometime in the future.
Stay tuned.
Or not. It's up to you, you know.
No, stay tuned.
We're
You
not
better
forcing to
freaking
watch
stay
it.
tuned. I'm not giving him an option.
Holding the audience hostage. Won't move.
If you're here, you're not leaving. But anyways,
The movie.
movie. Yeah, that, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing that we spent like an hour and a half watching.
We actually started on time, boys and girls. Actually, we started early. It wasn't
I mean, technically, it's how we even going in. We're a day late. But yesterday was really busy. They had stuff. I had birthday stuff going on, and you know,
I had somebody
Stuff.
over, so I'm like, yeah, probably not a good thing to do.
yeah. But just think, we almost had an entire month where we were back on the normal schedule.
It's pretty good.
You know, adjusting for movie time.
Also, mostly Saturdays, but it was mostly Saturdays, but it was earlier starts on account of how long the contents were.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ponyo, Ponyo.
Yeah, some pony or something. I don't know.
I watched it and I don't know.
So she roamed through the ocean, or as the Japanese like call it, a free buffet, received a magical man named Fujimoto, voiced by Liam Neeson, who somehow managed to be the father of this strange-looking cardman fish.
Ponyo's origin is very simple. See, when a man loves a fish more than society says he should,
Maybe for reason.
I'm sorry, I had to. Go on.
Just ignore that. It's just...
So yeah, a little friend mentions making a surface, coming across a boy named Sosuke. Interesting. Interesting fact. The interesting fact. He's based on Miyazaki's son Goro when he was 5, and the name is taken from the hero in the novel The Gate.
I didn't know that. And just as I say that, I'm at this portion of the wiki page that actually says that. Hey, learn something new every day.
And yes, his English voices the youngest of then Disney superstars, the Jonas Brothers. Regardless, I thought it was pretty good. I thought he did it pretty good.
Yeah. Good voice acting.
Some of the magic word comes up Sasuke notices, and the reaction is, "That was weird." Yep, we're definitely a Miyazaki movie. Only in his world can water have eyes, and the only response is, "That was weird."
It's a good way of summing up this entire movie.
Actually, now that I think about it, given some of the people's reactions to stuff that happens later on, they've probably seen some real, they've seen some stuff going on that, like, stuff doesn't phase them anymore.
Apparently not. Jeez.
Like, there's a whole backstory to this place, like, whole history that we have no idea about. But I'm betting it'd be good for its own film.
Majora's Mask.
We'll get there.
Majora's Mask.
Some point beforehand, our little fishy friend got caught in the jar before running into the boy. It later shatters on the surface. So she cuts his finger in the process.
Yeah, be careful when shattering jars. It may cut you.
Don't worry, our little friend licks the wound, which heals in the process.
And gives her her first taste of flesh.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Great blood, kill first consumes us all.
Oh my god, this is just an anthropomorphized piranha movie, isn't it?
I knew it. I knew something was off. You couldn't pull the wool over my eyes for long.
But yeah, during the ensuing exchange, destroyed Fujimoto's search frantically. Waves Series explain the situation. And his line, "Boy, this is very bad."
Yeah, some boy took his. You're talking about Fujimoto?
Yes.
It's like he's like, some boy took my daughter. I will find him and I will kill him.
I will find you, and I will kill you. And when I do,
I mean, it's Liam Neeson, and what were you expecting?
why do they always play fathers with their
Damn.
daughters getting stolen?
Huh, that's actually a good point.
He's like, I only got one thing I can play. He's like, there's a kid. You're gonna play a father who gets their fish daughter stolen. He's like, ah, that's close enough. That fits the description.
So Alicia, voiced by Tina Fey, allows him to keep the fish and is surprisingly not shocked it has a face like the Numa kid. But hey, I wouldn't be disrespectful either if I saw this coming towards me. Fujimoto with a hand-pumped garden hose. Water tank backpack. Does he really think that's not gonna turn a few hits? It's like Tim Burton was writing a movie version of Mario Sunshine. Oh, and then we get to one of the more interesting aspects in this movie. The mother is a crazy driver!
Insane.
During the roller coaster trip is the best way to describe it. First of a few connections towards later has been made. Ponyo really likes ham.
It's already started. She hungers for meat.
Man flesh.
But yeah, it seems both the school as well as the as well as the focus on where his mom works is back to back apparently. But yeah, he's dropped off there a little reluctant to show the new pet. And hey, I didn't know Kiki was in this movie. Yeah, it seems there's a lot of callbacks in terms of designs.
It's quite clean, but it's quite detailed. The art style they went for, so I quite like that, or what they settled on.
Then we go and meet some people. Then we go and meet some other folks, including returning from Castle in the Sky, Cloris Leachman, and also
Wizards.
I was gonna say Miss Frizzle. Oh, and she's in the new series as well. So that's cool. But apparently Lily's not too keen about the new pet. Does the face? Put it back in the ocean. Didn't you realize it'll cause a tsunami?
Foreshadowing?
This feels like one of those things that if we were Japanese, we would get better. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean?
Some things don't really translate well. And a Japanese legend or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I feel like is coming into effect here. Like we're supposed to know something, or that doesn't. Because to us, it's like what? You know what I mean? Yeah, like, the frick are you talking about, old lady? But no one's phased by it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, just stop. They diss her on being too uptight, not being insane. You know what I mean? Maybe they're just humoring her.
Starting to change because of them to head down to the shore. Yes, apparently there's more than one place to reach the shore. More than one place to reach the shore. And we get our first word. And we get our first words out of young Noah Cyrus. And yes, she is related. She is unfortunately related to superstar at the time of Miley Cyrus, who has unfortunately been losing it as of late. Regardless, again, good voice acting. But you're close to the water, so you know what that means.
Do I?
Fortune Mountain and the Wave Spirits.
Oh no.
Not again.
Yeah, not the best first impression for that young lad.
Ooh. Now that's how you do a tree.
Done. That is pretty cool, actually, looking. That's a pretty decent one. That came out better than I thought it might.
Speaking of which, Sosei, of course, is upset about it, but not as upset as his mother. Otherwise, once he discovers that Father Matt Damon, who recently was Carol Shelby.
Oh, yeah, and Ford v Ferrari. I should really go see that. That is one of the ones I want to see, actually.
It's really good, trust me.
I believe you.
Anyway, seems to know the code to see, so of course the mother is upset. And like I said, speaking of that, repeated pressing that I heard. Searchlight Morse code. So, if driving crazy, getting drunk, and arguing in front of your kid doesn't give mother of the year, surely having your kid giving you parental advice ought to do the trick. Meanwhile, Fujimoto is finding out what an impact the human world has had on her. With their food. What else did you do? Did you taste blood?
Yeah, I bet it even fed her after midnight. Wait, sorry, wrong movie. I was thinking Gremlins.
That's a good label.
And during the exchange, she is wrinkling arms like appendages, attempting to turn to human. Granted by power granted by the blood she ingested earlier. Interesting note. But he does manage to finally reduce her back to normal size. He starts to try and summon Mother Grandma Mayor. Will get her voice. Get her voice later. This is we're get her voice later. There's still a bit of a ways away. Anyway, we do get a bit of an interesting exposition as to why he is a bit concerned about the girl. But the well is full. The age of the ocean will begin again. An explosion of life. To which the Cambrian age. An end to an era of abominable humans. And guess who's the one to pretty much cause close to that.
Some fish girl.
As she becomes more human, the chemicals in the well are broken into and creates a monstrous explosion of sea life. Some point at which she comes across our sea captain. It's a little girl. Looks like she's about Sosuke's age. Wow. Army of fish knocking over your boat, led by another girl, and the first thing to come anything to catch her attention is she's roughly Sosuke's age?
He's having a hard time. What can I say? Can you blame him, really?
Back on land, it's raining after another day, and the Benson at home once again in the crazy dripping teeth. With the tidal wave coming, she's like, I'm gonna go GCA on this. Eventually, the two were able to see each other again. And it appears I don't question the longevity of the situation in the transformation process. Well, that will probably be explained to them later. And most that are inside the house have taken what can only be described as terminal cutesiness. And yes, it includes a noodle scene with ham. But eventually, just to show what a great mother she is Lisa leaves both of them behind, so she behind in the middle of a storm to go check on the old people.
You think there'd be more pressing matters like, the young. That's kind of usually how they prioritize things. Maybe she didn't get the memo.
And it's here where we're finally introduced. To Grandma Mare, voiced by Kate Blanchett of. Let's see, it was Lord of the Rings, but it was. Let's not run this second. Galadriel. Ooh, and she's Spelko from Crystal Skull. And now for something and then to something slightly more recent. Live action Lady Tremel.
Ooh, she was Hel in Thor Ragnarok. Didn't know that.
So yeah, on first So yeah, on first appearance, pretty large, but not to worry. Not to worry. She has some size changing abilities later on. But yeah, the situation is explained. But it seems our Goddess of Mercy has it. Goddess of Mercy has a test. That if passed, young Ponyo can live as a human, and the order of the world is restored. But if not, Ponyo will be turned to sea foam.
I didn't hear that bit.
So Sasuke passes the test, Ponyo can live as a human, and then the order of the world will be restored. If failed, Ponyo was turned into sea foam. Did you get it at that time?
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I wasn't worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up on 11:30.
Next morning, the later round has been covered by the ocean, and they decide to go out and they go out and start to try to find out with help of their magic. With their magic, they turn the toy into an actual size boat, and go out in search of Lisa. Along the way, they come across a friendly couple who sure are chipper for everything that they've ever known, suddenly being lost. In fact, a lot of people in this boat will be treated like an inconvenience. However, our neighbors will just be on in a second. It's not like they lost their house and home.
And just to think about how many people must have died because of this.
There is a rescue operation. There is a operation or a way to get them to higher ground, but
It's pretty haphazard.
and there's also some bits between Ponyo and the baby. As they're getting closer out here, Ponyo seems to get wicked, losing magic power. But the car is abandoned. Again, clearly she made the right choice in leaving him behind.
Well, it is a Miyazaki film. There's kind of been like a certain level of, let's just say the parents haven't been exactly great.
Yeah, why is this just like a staple? Should we be concerned for Miyazaki? You are right, family.
I mean, it could be worse. The parents could be dead.
It's true.
But yeah, they continue with their quest. Their quest, including a moment where we almost thought it was a spirit. Thought it was going to go spirited away on us.
Yeah, had to tell them everything. It's like, oh no.
But yeah, due to power fading, the Pontius were running back into fish. Meanwhile, it seems most everything's A-okay down at the nursing hall because of Grandma Mare. the service the kids make it. And yes, a little bit of Majora's messy on the fact that the moon is coming closer. Some action scene later, including slow motion. We do manage to get to where the mother of the open river, so that Sasuke can make a final choice concerning Ponyo. Would you love her if she moved between two worlds? The balance of nature is restored. Life begins again. So that somehow saves the world. But let's...
It's magic.
As you can tell, I'm kind of going back and forth between Wikipedia as well as the Nostalgia Critic transcript.
And usually I poke my head in a bit more often, but I was kind of multitasking during the movie. I was half watching the movie and half recording Kingdom Hearts stuff, so didn't quite sink in as well as usual.
But yeah, both Fujimoto and Sosera in a better terms. Father comes back. Bunny's girl again. Freeze frame. An interesting note: the closing credits song is pretty much the same in both Japanese and both the original Jap as well as the English dub.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was good. Good music, good voice acting.
Yeah, the voice acting in this one I think was probably the better of the stuff. I think maybe just mainly because it had less of the whole weird, maybe eating noises and stuff. Maybe that's just personal. I don't like that stuff, and there was not much of it in this movie. But I don't know. I felt like the voice acting was better than usual, or dubbing, I guess. I had a lot of. I remember this was the one I had a lot of commercials for as a kid.
Ooh, nice.
I was like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it sometime, and then I never did end up until now.
Okay, a few more Okay, a few more interesting trivia bits. Miyazaki was intimately involved with the hand-drawn animation. He preferred to draw the sea and the waves himself, and experimented with how to express this important part of the film. The level of detailed drawing present in the film resulted in 170,000 separate images, a record for a Miyazaki film.
Dang.
Ponyo's name is an onomatopoeia, based on Miyazaki's idea on what soft, squishy softness sounds like when touched. Sees Milton and sits. Tonaikai National Park in Japan, where Miyazaki stayed in 2005. Some of the setting and story was affected by Richard Wagner's opera Die Walküre. The music also makes references to the opera.
So I think my plan is this painting or sketch is I'll send it to. So I made this mainly for my friend because we're gonna start doing an art trade where I do one art and then they do one art. I might send my plan is I'll send her this file with maybe the background out so that they can put in their own background they want.
Cool.
Or maybe they'll add some and then I'll maybe again, so we'll trade it back and forth. Maybe it might be fun. All right, I think that's where I'll cut it off. I kind of like what did this. I kind of had like a sci-fi guy going. Maybe it's like looks kind of like he's got an antenna. Kind of inspired by that, but kind of like this. I don't know. Maybe it's a weapon he's used, but it's like an antenna or an old antenna, kind of like a Star Wars-y sci-fi. It's got like a mask on with like a helmet. I don't know. Spent a lot of time just messing around with brushes because I need to get into using more brushes more freely. Usually I'd stick to like one or two and never blend or anything. So it's fun to get some blending experience in and brush testing as well. But yeah, that's kind of what we're left with here. Let me zoom in on just kind of the area we mainly. There you go. I don't know. It came out kind of fun. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it was good. 7 out of 10. Too much water.
Too much water.
Sorry, just had to reference the infamous Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire review.
But yeah, the movie. I've seen it once before. I think this is one of the only ones of Miyazaki's that I've seen beforehand. But I saw it so long ago that I didn't remember like anything of it. And I think when I watched it, I was like really sleepy or something because I don't like. Yeah, none of it really stuck. I just remember watching it. Kind of one of those movies, you know what I mean? Almost like you went into it blank, but you just sort of remember here and there parts of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically like I've never seen it before, though, from my mind. Like, everything in this movie, was new, so basically. So I just hadn't seen it in such a long time, and I was a kid when I saw it, so I didn't log any of it. I probably thought, hey, that was weird, and then just didn't. I didn't listen. Never thought about it again. Ranking it with the other ones, I still like Castle in the Sky. I just like the aesthetic a lot. I think the characters are more memorable.
Yeah.
This one has the backgrounds. I think are the best though in this one. Just I was paying attention to all the details in the background, and there's just very sharp. The watercolor is very obvious. Action-wise, I think it's medium compared to the other ones. Pretty low. I guess it's more than Kiki's Delivery. Kiki's like the lowest action level so far. This one was medium. There was a lot of tense driving, I guess. Sense of direction was better than Kiki's. I think it's better than Kiki's delivery service just by a hair. You know what I mean? Still kind of nebulous in direction. It's not as blaring, I guess, as Kiki's. In Kiki's, I kept expecting something to happen and nothing really did. I don't know. You know what I mean? I wanted a direction. I wanted a direction, and I never got one. It was just kind of like, and we're done. And I'm like, okay, you know. This one at least had a little bit of a goal of Ponyo trying to be human, kind of like Little Mermaid, I guess.
And then disturbing the natural order.
Yeah. The message was all right. I think more in tune to over there. In that we don't really, it's the whole pollute the oceans and stuff like that message for a little bit. I'm glad they didn't go into that too much just because it's overdone. And I think it ruins a lot of movies where they just get preachy. It's like, and
yeah, it's like it's fine. Like at the beginning, like oh, humans pollute, they're bad. Then it's just like, oh crap, if we serve the natural order, we're all gonna die, or everyone's gonna die. So I was like, yeah, higher priorities there. It's like, yeah, work on that first.
Yeah. I guess it's. I know that China and Japan do have troubles with pollution more so than other. I mean, like here, it's freaking really illegal if you dump anything into the ocean. Like if you're a company that dumps something in the ocean, you will be taken down to the ground.
They will be fined. And it'll be a minuscule fine, and they'll just keep doing it anyway.
If you get caught dumping stuff in the ocean here, you might get foreclosed. You might get taken down by the government. But in like the pollution, what was it? It was like 80 or something or 90% of it came from Asia. The pollutants in the ocean came from China and India mainly. Just because they literally don't do anything with their waste, they just jump it in the ocean with it. It's like, ugh. So definitely more important in that area where it was made. So I can see that. Like the fishing net, like just dredging up a bunch of crap. You don't really get that around here, luckily. I don't know where the dinosaurs came from. Did they ever explain that really?
Magic.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Sometimes I think that's kind of what Miyazaki does that kind of gets Western viewers confused. Is he does stuff like that where there's just hey, it's dinosaurs, yay! And you're just kind of like what? And then they never reference it again. And I don't know. I don't know if that's you
It's like,
can't.
hey, people like Jurassic Park. Let's toss in some dinosaurs.
Yeah, and there's like that whole part where they're like, "Hey, look, it's that, blah 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 blah, it's that, blah blah blah." And it's never explained why they know the names of it, and like, there's no reason for them to be naming it off. I don't know, and they're not bonding. Like, it's not like their characters getting even. I don't know. There's just a
It's
lot of
like it
weird.
turned into. It's like it turned into an educational film all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots like that in these movies that I've noticed, where it does just kind of the tone switches entirely. And they go off on a little tangent about something, and it doesn't really have any effect on the characters in the long term. It just feels like scenes that could have been cut. You know what I mean? And it would have changed nothing. You know what I mean? Like if they didn't have that little scene of them naming the dinosaurs, well, would it be any different? I guess less whimsical. I don't know. I'm being stingy, I guess. Maybe I'm nitpicking. But I don't know. I think it's a lot of those little scenes that add up where you get to the point. There's kind of always that thing in the back of my mind where I'm like, what? I'm trying to figure out the rules of the world, and I have a hard time figuring them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With something, let's go to Star Wars. Everyone does Star Wars. Like Star Wars has rules, and you can kind of understand it. It's like if you just started doing like dinosaurs out of left field, everyone would kind of get angry. Like what? You know what I mean? Everyone would get kind of confused, and it'd be kind of breaking the rules of the universe. And if they explain it, maybe, and they usually if they do something out of left field, they'll say, "Oh, well, it's this monster from this planet." I'm like, oh, okay. It's they put it into the framework of the universe. You know what I mean? Or a lot of times it's like in these movies, it's like a normal world, and then there's magic, and you're like, okay, that's magic, and then they add something random like dinosaurs. What? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just weird. I guess I'm trying to get a grasp on how he likes to direct. He kind of likes to throw in just things every once in a while. I don't know. And I'm not even saying it's bad. I guess it's just kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've noticed that with a lot of. For some reason, I've been viewing a lot of Japanese culture, and it seems to be kind of a thing that they like to do. I don't know. They're more attuned to random things, if you know what I mean, right? Like they're more accepting of just some random character showing up or some random thing happening.
Yeah, pretty
Maybe,
much.
maybe pretty much, right? Like a character could come out of left field, like, "Hey, I'm this," and they're like, "All right, cool," and it's like, what? Like leaving everyone else in the dust. Like, what's happening? Who's this? And a lot of times, yeah, they're not even skeptical really of stuff. You know what I mean? They're really accepting of random things. Because I set up the world to be a pretty normal world, right? For the humans. And then a bunch of magic stuff starts happening. And I don't even remember, like, above, like, a small gasp from the mom. You know what I mean? In seeing some magic, right? Usually if you see, like, waves 80, 90 feet tall, right? You're not just chilling, setting up a radio set.
It's
You're
like,
going,
oh
what the frick is
shit!
happening? Oh my gosh, right? But they're just chilling. Yeah. I don't know. I guess also maybe it's a bit of an animation thing where the waves look bigger than they are. They're emphasizing them maybe from the kids' perspective. That's what the kid sees them as being that big. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it and they just did it because it looks cool.
Well, I mean, the whole town is basically flooded.
Yeah. I think another thing Western animation doesn't like to do quite as much as Japanese animation is uh, style shifts. You know what I mean? If we make an animated or live action movie, there's rarely where like the waves get cartoony. You know what I mean? If there's waves, they're either realistic or not realistic, right? And then they stay that way the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like in this movie, there were some shots where it's like pretty realistic looking waves, and the next shot they're like rolling like cartoons, like like crescent shaped waves that are just chilling. So it's like you're kind of your brain's going like, so what is water supposed to be in this universe? Is it supposed to be cartoony? Is it supposed to be realistic? I guess maybe that's just how we grew up in seeing things, seeing animation. I guess I want because when I watch a movie, I usually like consistency, but I guess there's no problem with having randomness as much. I don't know. Because like nowadays, like if I went to an art and I've taken art classes where if you shift tone in an animation, they will point out that it's a wrong thing to do, right? So maybe that's just how we do it over here. I don't know. Because if you switch tone, it's considered kind of bad usually. It's like that's weird. You know what I mean? Or style switches between the movie. It's distracting usually because you're like your brain's trying to catch up. I don't know. Movie diagnostics, critiquing. Haven't seen any other movies really. Did we talk about 1917 this last week? I forgot.
Yeah.
Frickin' go see it if you haven't seen it. Woo! Huh. Good movie. That's a movie, like the whole movie feels like one shot. That's such a cool idea. It's been done before, but it's kind of cool in this adventure movie in that you're kind of following them on a mission. And so it feels like you're with them on the mission the whole time, which is really cool. There's no time jumps. There's no. Well, there is a time jump, I guess, but it's not like it's a time jump with the characters. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. From their perspective. How about that? I don't want to spoil it, but it feels like you've been with them the entire time. Obviously, they cut, but you don't notice it, so it feels like a continuous shot the entire movie. And its story is pretty good. Characters are kind of like most war movies, where you're not really supposed to get connected with them one on one. I guess you're supposed to. I guess they're supposed to be inserts. You know what I mean um, for the viewer. But yeah, is this the last movie we're doing for Miyazaki week, or month, or year, decade, century, millennia? Whoa. Really? So we might do an interview next week.
Been getting in contact with been getting in contact with been trying to contact the person in question, but basically been trying to contact the person in question, but yeah.
Okay, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you didn't have, but yeah, last year that wasn't a bad idea. Wasn't a bad idea. Wasn't a bad idea to speak with him again.
I'll be sure to think of some questions.
Yeah, this time this time thankfully this time you guys have some time to make up lists.
All right.
There's only one thing on the news. There's only one thing on the news desk this week. It appears that Ponyo Life is getting retooled.
Really? I saw the claymation. Not much to talk about there. It's a claymation, no talking. Probably not the original voice actors. It's just short. It's only like 3 minutes long or something like that. Decent claymation. It's definitely pushing the toy line. Um, Giggling's kind of obnoxious, but that's just kind of one thing that I gets it's a pet peeve of mine in animation. When a character just laughs or giggles or he chuckles or something for extended amounts of time, it's kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, I think they might be like in that kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks kind of phase.
Yeah,
Like they're not exactly sure what they want,
it's
so they're just trying whatever.
it's either that or they're just filling the time gap. You know what I mean?
Or
It's that
that.
they're just holding off until I don't know. It feels like a commercial almost. It is a commercial basically, but more of a storyline, I guess. It's more of like a product placement throughout the entire thing, using a product for a story. You know what I mean?
Quote,
Um,
quote, revamped their Amazon store page with the new Ponyo Life visuals.
yes, they like redid their Amazon listing or store, so that could mean something. Definitely pushing Pony Life the style a lot and everything official recently. I wouldn't say it's hit mainstream yet. You know what I mean? Like it's not being advertised yet. It's just stuff that the fans are finding. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of like not leaks, but they're just things that we you have to be a fan of the show to know about them. You know what I mean? They're not being pushed yet on the TV or ads.
Right.
In other words, they're not confident enough with, or they're not their wave hasn't happened yet. They're just getting ready for something, probably a release or something. It's kind of like with anything with movies and stuff. You can get books and websites and all that stuff changes, months in advance of when something's going to happen, if you know what I mean. So the general public won't know about it for a long time, but the fans might know about it. It's kind of like with games and stuff like that. Same thing happens where Titanfall 2, oh, it might come out, and the Uber fans knew about Titanfall 2 or whatever when it was out a long time ago, but it didn't hit mainstream for a long time. Same type of deal, but ponies is what my guess is. Maybe don't quote me on that, but I don't know. I guess what are you guys' thoughts on it? I guess I'm okay with the designs. I like the toy designs actually better than the animated designs, surprisingly.
I haven't really looked at it that much, so no real opinion for me.
Well, I am quite impressed how a lot of artists are suddenly tailoring into the designs. If you go across the internet, that is.
I don't want to be too presumptuous and make a bunch of guesses that'll just fall flat. I don't know. I think it's not. It's too far out again to really make any guesses on what the heck's happening, other than maybe like a 0.5 gen type deal in between. I do think it's one of their bigger titles, so they're probably not wanting to mess it up, if you know what I mean. Transformers is probably their biggest title. There's probably a couple other things slightly ahead of My Little Pony. But for the girl line, I think My Little Pony is probably one of the highest ones. So they probably want the main Gen 5 to hit well, you know what I mean? So they're probably just staving filler. They're doing filler until they get five out ready. That's my guess. In Star Wars news, probably the final trailer for season 7 released just what 2 days ago. Uh, it'll be dropping on Disney Plus February 21st. The first episode, I think. I think they're doing a staggered release like Mandalorian again. So if you're into Clone Wars, definitely check that out. I hope it's done by the same people, same animation style, just better, more budget. Clones, everyone likes clones, so Ahsoka, prevalent, all the good stuff. And Mandalorian is in the works, season 2, and apparently it's coming out like I think it was like next year or something, or end of this year or something, same like that. Like they since it was such a popular thing, I think they kind of have focused on that, getting that done.
And I just remembered the live action Pinocchio has gotten Robert Zemeckis is now involved with the live action Pinocchio.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, and isn't the Sonic movie coming out soon-ish? Like February 14th or something? Valentine's Day? It was Valentine's Day. So you can go take your date. Just what I wanted to do. First, I gotta get a date. That'll be easy. But yeah, I think that's most of the news. Not too heavy a week for Pony. Nothing really too serious, other than kind of under the shadow shifting of stuff from what it seems like. So yeah, maybe if the person gets back to me with their edit of the video or of the picture, maybe I'll show you guys that if they want to. But maybe keep your, don't hold your breath, but maybe that will be coming soon. All right. You want to close us out, Alex? For the week.
So yeah, we had a lot of interesting stuff on the news desk. Closed out the month with another good one for me. Good one for Miyazaki. Cute, creative, memorable, and once again artistically pleasing. So yeah, I will try. So yeah, I will try to keep in contact with the person with the interviewee in question. Try to come up with a bit of a backup plan if something doesn't. Try to come up with a bit of a backup plan if things don't exactly work. But either way, we will see you all next week. Take care.
Later.
Later.